The Holy Gospel is from the book of Luke, the 13th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that very hour, some Pharisees came and said to him, "Get away from here, for Herod wants to kill you." He said to them, "Go and tell that fox for me, 'Listen, I am casting out demons and performing cures today and tomorrow, and on the third day I finish my work. Yet today, tomorrow, and the next day I must be on my way, because it is impossible for a prophet to be killed outside of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. See, your house is left to you, and I tell you, you will not see me until the time comes when you say, 'Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord.'" The Gospel of the Lord. Before I start, right before we came into the service, I received a message from one of our members who's a teacher at Arlington High School, and she wanted me to share this post with you regarding needs for the flood. Arlington Public Schools are no longer in need of clothing, but non-perishables are always welcome. More than anything, they need people to make connections with the families that are in need so that they can get care packages to them. So if you have any contact with anyone who is in need of any kind of care package, you can let me know, and then I can pass that on to, this was Nicole Sock. She's a new member, and she sent that to me this morning, so I just wanted to share that. I apologize this morning. I'm speaking from my laptop because our printer wouldn't work this morning or last night, so I will be speaking from the screen. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Erika Cada. I'm the Director of Children's and Youth Ministries here at First Lutheran. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about our FLC service plunge. This year we've done 2 plunges with our confirmation kids who are in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. And we chose to implement this activity as a replacement for the confirmation camp requirement that we used to have. It's become harder and harder for kids to be able to be away for a week in the summer, and the cost has also increased significantly. So we decided we wanted to come up with a different service-related option for our kids that was affordable and meaningful and required less of a time commitment. So we instituted the plunge. Our first plunge was on October 26th, and we took 21 kids and 4 adults, and we went to Lutheran Family Services in Omaha. We spent the morning learning about their services for refugees who come to Omaha, and then we went in their warehouse and we sorted and put away all of the donated bedding that was there. You can donate any kind of household items to Lutheran Family Services, and when refugees arrive in Omaha, they provide a furnished apartment for them. After we did that, we then traveled down to Table Grace Cafe, downtown Omaha, and we were able to eat lunch there and learn about what their mission is. Matt Weber expected 6 of us. There was a miscommunication, and we showed up with 26. So he struggled to keep us busy, but he did a fantastic job. If you've been there, it's not a very large space, so it was a crowded but joyful time. The kids were able to help in cleaning, in food preparation, in serving, and then in cleaning up for the day. While at Table Grace, a few groups of students went out in downtown Omaha and handed out blessing bags, which our youth group periodically puts together with supportive grants from Thrivent. And they're just a Ziploc bag filled with non-perishable food items, personal hygiene items. In October, they had gloves and a hat and different things in there that someone living out on the street could definitely use. After Table Grace, then we still had some time left, so we headed down to Open Door Mission for a little bit and worked at their Timberlake Outreach Center, sorting donations, cleaning, and restocking for them. Then our second plunge was February 15th, and then we took 22 different kids and 4 different adults. And this one was a little different because Lutheran Family Services asked if we could spend the whole day at their facility. And of course we said yes. So they showed us around the offices again, taught us about what they do for the refugees. And then we spent most of the day working in their filing room. They needed all of their files purged, shredded, sorted, alphabetized, moved. And at first our kids were a little unsure of how they were helping people by working in files. And, you know, they had this picture of serving refugee families and maybe working in a food pantry or things like that. So we had to have a little bit of a discussion, and we tried to explain to them that if we did the work in the file room, then their employees would be able to work with the refugees and help them learn English and go get a driver's license and enroll in school and learn those things that they didn't know how to do yet. That really clicked with the kids because they saw all the employees in the office who each had a desk with a stack of files that each had a name on it that was someone who needed their help. And they didn't have to go sit in the file room and clean and sort. So we got there. They figured out that they were helping. For lunch, we were blessed to be able to go eat at a restaurant in Omaha called Salween Thai, which is owned by some refugees who came to Omaha and were able to open their own restaurant, and they now have 3 locations. The kids weren't crazy about Thai food, I gotta be honest, but they were good sports and they tried everything, and now they can say they've had it. After lunch, we had an unusual opportunity. Lutheran Family Services had a woman who was going to have to go to court for a traffic violation, and she didn't have any way to get there. She didn't speak a lot of English. She was really scared, and they were short-staffed, so they asked if we had anyone who would be willing to do that. And Molly Meaves, if you know Molly, she always says yes if you ask her to do anything. She said, heck yeah, I'll go. I'll take 3 of our girls and we'll go. So they went, and I'll just tell you real quick, this explains to you a little bit of what a refugee goes through. The woman was told when she learned how to drive and got her driver's license that you never park in a spot with a wheelchair on it or blue paint or a blue sign or a wheelchair on the sign. And she understood that, and so she didn't park there, but she parked on the striped diagonal lines right next to that spot. She did exactly what they told her to do, but she got a ticket, and it was a sizable ticket, and she's on a limited income. So she had to go to court, explain her case, and as I said, she didn't speak a lot of English and was scared. So Molly and 3 girls went with her, picked her up, took her to court, helped her understand what was happening, and sat with her to help her feel safe and comfortable. And everyone was so grateful. The ticket was dismissed and everything was fine, and she got to go home and forget about that mess. On both plunges, by the end of the day, the kids were very tired. And as I looked at their faces throughout the day, I could tell that they were thinking. They were taking so much information in. They were feeling things. They were realizing how blessed they are. They were trying to comprehend what it would be like to get off the airplane with a t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops, and that's it. And you're going to build a life like that. But they handled the day very, very well. Now, as I was preparing this sermon, I kind of got stuck on the blessing bag experience. At the time, it was just a small piece of the bigger day, and I was just typing away and didn't really think anything of it. And there's something that hit me, so I'm going to share just a few details about this specific piece of the plunge. A group of girls were with us at Table Grace, and they were just chomping at the bit to go out and do these blessing bags. Every time I turned around, can we go, can we go, can we go? So I said, okay, let's go. Let's get out of here and go do this. So they were very excited, but they were nervous. They weren't sure what to say. They didn't know how to approach the person. And like any of us, they were scared of the unknown. So we talked a little bit about it and talked about what we could say. And a couple girls went first, and both individuals accepted the bags with smiles and thank yous and were so grateful, and we were on our way. Well, unfortunately, one girl's blessing bag offerings were turned down multiple times. And she approached 2 or 3 people with the bag, and she did everything the same as the other girls. You know, she held it out so they could see it. They could see what was in it. She smiled. She told them that we wanted to help. But every person she approached had said no. And to her and the girls, the people seemed rude and unappreciative. And in that moment, it hit me as I watched her face. Those girls could not understand why those people would ever say no. They thought they did something wrong. And they didn't have the experience or the knowledge to go on the other side of it. So we kept walking through downtown Omaha, and we had a discussion about pride and embarrassment, and why would that person not want a free gift? Why would they say no and turn their back and not, take something that we were trying to give them to help? So I explained to the girls that it didn't have anything to do with them. I said, we have clothes, food, homes. We have more than we need. And most likely, those people probably do not. They have little or none. So I encouraged them to switch roles. And I said, when we offered that gift to them, it may have made them think, I am so embarrassed. I wish I could have showered today. Or I have so little, and I'm not going to take a handout from a kid. And so I explained that rather than have those thoughts go through their minds, they may have just chosen to say no and keep on walking and not think about the current situation. So we talked then more about with the girls. I said, if you feel really crummy or you're embarrassed, it's easier to just ignore it and ignore the yuck and pretend everything's fine. And they nodded their heads. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. And I said those people wanted to ignore the yuck in their lives. And if they just said no to us, it was over, it was fast, and they walked on and they could not think about it. So that was a big moment. It was a huge opportunity for teaching, and as usual, I do not ever see those times coming. God likes to spring them on me. So by the grace of God, I was able to come up with an explanation and talk about it. God was there. He was in the girls. He was in the people that we offered the bags to, both those who accepted and those who did not. He was in the bystanders that saw the interactions, and he was in me. So now I have a short video to show. I tried to interview as many kids as I could, but snow days threw a wrench in my plans. So it's not quite as many as I would have liked, but I asked most of them 3 questions. What did you learn on the plunge? What did you enjoy on the plunge? And who did you help on the plunge?
I learned that that they have many troubles coming to Nebraska and America from where they come from, and that some people help them with different sponsors help them with furniture and clothes and stuff that they couldn't bring along with them.
That they speak 53 different languages in their office.
I enjoyed separating files in the file room because I like knowing things are tidy and clean.
Helping in the kitchen at the table grace, yeah.
Okay.
I helped all the refugees that were coming in and helping them not have to organize their sheets and stuff.
I helped all the people who have better things to do than organize files, and so they can have more time to help the refugees.
My favorite thing was giving out the blessing bags.
My favorite thing to do was working at Table Cafe.
Favorite thing about today was blessing people with the gift bags.
My favorite part was listening to the refugee story.
My favorite part was the blessing bags.
On the plunge that we learned that how many people come into the U.S. without documents and how long it takes them to come.
I learned how many people want to help these people with getting them furniture and stuff.
I loved helping the people that helped the other people get where they needed to go.
Same.
We helped by sorting files of old cases that didn't need to be seen anymore.
We also helped by sorting the new files alphabetically.
It helped
them find which people, which families were where,
and
made it easy.
How much more they needed to be helped to get further along.
like recycling at Table Grace Cafe.
Helping people.
Cycling.
Organizing the warehouse. Learning about refugees.
My favorite thing is dishes.
My favorite thing is going through clothes and bags of stuff and sorting them and kitchen utilities.
My favorite thing today was serving dessert at Table Grace.
Everything.
The blessing bags.
Table Grace.
Table Grace.
Table of Grace.
Family Lutheran services.
Handing out the blessing bags.
Washing dishes.
The number one thing we learned, how the refugees got to Nebraska and how their life was before they came here.
How did we help? We helped by like taking all the folders out, and then we threw away the ones that were older than 2011, and then we put them all back in alphabetized and by year.
The number one thing you enjoyed. The number one thing we enjoyed was experience what Thai food tastes like.
Yeah.
It was different.
It was different, but some of it was good.
Yeah.
On the plunge, I learned how easy it can be to help people.
On the plunge, I learned that refugees love their country and that they have to prove that they're endangered before they can ever leave.
I enjoyed helping other people.
I enjoyed trying new food like Thai food. I think I helped Lutheran Family Services by organizing their cabinets.
I learned that about the refugees, how they had to wait a long time and it wasn't easy, and they spent like 20 years waiting to have their time to come to America. I really enjoyed learning about their lifestyle and what really impacted them and how they had to come here and how their waiting took so long. I helped the people who taught us there by filing papers, and that really took time off their hands to focus on them and helping with other people's lives.
I learned that it takes a long time for the refugees to come to America.
I learned that Nebraska gets a lot of refugees from different places.
I enjoyed eating a different type of food, which the refugees eat, like in their homes.
I enjoyed it because we gotta prepare the food for them. So yeah.
We did files, so we threw out all the outdated files and we took off the name tags.
We helped organize a bunch of donated things and help them organize all of their clothes and put things in where they go so people can come and get them for free.
So that's a little snippet. If any of you are interested in attending a plunge with our kids, please let me know. We always need adult volunteers to help provide transportation and then participate with us in our day, and we'd love to have you. Our kids want to serve their neighbors. However, sometimes it's hard for them to figure out the how and the when and the where, especially as middle schoolers when they can't drive yet. So it's our job to nurture and encourage those feelings and provide the opportunities for them. These kids love their neighbors on these plunges, and they are going to continue to find more ways to do so. I will end with our FLC youth verse, which is Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God.